If your job feels heavy before the day even starts, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not weak. You are not dramatic. And you are not imagining it. Some jobs don't just stress you out. They slowly change who you are. And today, I'm walking you through 7 things you should never do in a toxic job. These are mistakes that feel responsible. They feel mature. They even feel professional. But they're the exact behaviors that quietly drain your confidence, your health, and your sense of self. And the third one, most people make it. They're praised for it. And it causes the deepest damage. Let's get into it. Because once you learn this, you won't be able to unlearn it. Here's something no one tells you. A toxic job doesn't break you all at once. It breaks you inch by inch. You start second-guessing yourself. Your body is tense even when nothing is happening. And Sunday nights feel heavier than they should. If that sounds familiar, don't click away. This video isn't about motivation. It's about self-protection. Number 1. Never try to prove yourself. This is where most high performers start. You think, if I just work harder, this will get better. So you stay late. You over-deliver. You say yes when everything in your body says no. But here's the problem. In a toxic job, effort doesn't buy safety. It buys extraction. The more capable you are, the more you're used. The more you're used, the more invisible your effort becomes. And suddenly, you're doing the work of 3 people, while being told you're lucky. The goalposts move, the praise disappears, and you start chasing approval that never arrives. So here's the rule. Do your job well. Meet expectations. Then detach emotionally, because you cannot earn security from people who benefit from your exhaustion. And this next mistake feels reasonable, but it keeps people stuck for years. 2. Never expect fairness. You expect fairness because you're fair. You assume logic will win, that effort will be recognized, that accountability exists somewhere. But in toxic workplaces, fairness isn't broken. It's irrelevant. Favoritism is intentional. Inconsistency is strategic. And waiting for justice just burns you out. You replay conversations. You explain yourself again. You waste emotional energy being shocked by patterns that will repeat. Here's the shift. Acceptance is not giving up. Seeing clearly. Once you stop expecting fairness, you stop fighting reality, and you can start planning your way out. Now we're at the one that changes everything. The one people wear like a badge of honor. The one that sounds healthy. And the one that does the most damage. 3. Never avoid office politics. This is a mistake. And I want you to stay with me here. Avoiding office politics does not make you ethical. It makes you unprotected. Most people say, I just want to do my job. I don't want to play games. I stay out of it. That sounds noble. But here's the truth no one tells you. If you don't participate in the narrative, someone else will create one for you. And in toxic environments, the loudest voices are rarely the most honest ones. When you avoid politics, you think you're opting out. You're not. You're surrendering control of your reputation. Decisions about you get made in rooms you're not in. Your silence gets interpreted. Your absence gets filled with assumptions. And this is where the real damage starts. You get confused. You're doing good work, but somehow you're difficult, or not a team player, or not leadership material, and no one explains why. That confusion isn't accidental. It destabilizes you. You start shrinking. You overthink every sentence. You rehearse before speaking. Your nervous system never fully relaxes. This is how toxic jobs follow people long after they leave. So no, I'm not telling you to play dirty. I'm telling you to play aware. Build quiet alliances. Maintain visibility without oversharing. Make sure at least one person with influence knows your work and your integrity. Not for ego, for protection. And if this part just hit you in the chest, pause for a second. If you've ever felt like staying out of it costs you confidence, you're not alone. This is exactly why I make these videos. And if this is helping you see clearly, subscribing now helps you protect yourself long-term. Because the next mistake looks harmless, and it destroys people quietly. Number 4. Never vent to coworkers. Venting feels like relief. Someone nods. They say, I know. You finally feel understood. But in toxic environments, venting isn't release. It's exposure. What feels private becomes portable. Stories shift. Words get repackaged. And suddenly, your frustration becomes your reputation. Even worse, venting keeps your body stuck in stress. You relive it. You rehearse it. You bond over pain instead of solutions. That's not processing. That's co-rumination. And it accelerates burnout. So here's the boundary. Keep work relationships professional. Light, surface level. Process your emotions outside the system that caused them. And speaking of systems, 5. Never trust HR blindly. This one requires clarity. HR is not evil. But HR is not neutral. Their role is to protect the company from risk. Not to protect you emotionally. When you go in unprepared, things get documented. Conversations get reframed. And suddenly, you're the problem on paper. If you go to HR, go factual. Dates, patterns, policies, not feelings. Because once something is recorded, you don't control how it's used. And this next mistake feels generous, but it keeps toxic systems alive. Point 6. And yes, this is really counterintuitive for a team player and a high performer. Never solve problems that aren't yours. High performers do this automatically. You clean things up. You absorb chaos. You protect the team. But every time you fix what leadership broke, you hide the consequences. You become the buffer. And buffers burn out first. Do your job. Not the system's job. Not your boss's job. Not the emotional labor no one assigned you. Let dysfunction be visible. That's how systems get exposed. And finally, the mistake that traps people the longest. Point 7. Never wait for it to get better. This is the most dangerous one. You tell yourself, it's just a phase. They're under pressure. Things will change. But most toxic environments don't improve without structural change. And while you're waiting, your body keeps score. Your confidence erodes. Your standards drop. Your world gets smaller. Waiting doesn't preserve you, costs you. So instead, start filling your tank outside of work. Build skills. Build options. Build distance. Even if you can't leave yet, you can stop letting the job define you. Because once you stop making these mistakes, something else becomes obvious. The job isn't the only problem. The people inside it matter just as much. Some coworkers don't just survive toxicity. They spread it. And in the next video, I'm breaking down 7 toxic coworkers you need to avoid. Not because they're annoying, but because staying close to them can quietly destroy your reputation and your mental health. That video completes what this one starts. Watch it next.